Disciplinary spanking is one of the several methods of correction when disciplining a child. When it comes to discipline, where do you draw the line? Is it timeout, a lecture, a grab of the arm, or a meltdown? It is important how parents use corrective measures will determine how effective the outcome is. I have researched the positive information on disciplinary spanking, and I have personally used spanking as a means of discipline. I have found that my children have grown up and have been perfectly fine. So let's see what the experts have to say. According to the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary, disciplinary spanking has been defined as physically non-injurious, intended to modify behavior, and administered with the open hand to extremities and the buttocks. In the table, you will see that the act of spanking is 1 or 2 swats to the buttocks of a disobedient child. The intent is to train and to modify behavior and to persuade the heart. The attitude should be love and concern, and the effects are mild to moderate discomfort with hoping a behavioral change. According to goodparent.org, in an article on disciplinary spanking defined, it states that disciplinary spanking is not intended to be physically harmful or cause the child to be emotionally distraught. To clarify several misconceptions, of disciplinary spanking is not slapping in the face, kicking, or beating. Disciplinary spanking is not losing control of your emotions in a time of anger and taking it out on the child. Disciplinary spanking is not to be used as the primary method of discipline. Disciplinary spanking should not prevent the use of time out, restraint, or taking away privileges as a means of discipline. Now let's look at the effectiveness of discipline spanking and how it should be used. According to American College of Pediatricians, and also from an article, Effective Parenting in a Defective World by Focus on the Family, all methods of discipline can be ineffective. This is determined by how you use it. Here are some guidelines that were expressed by both websites. Spanking should always be planned. Your first interaction with your child should be verbal. Always administrate discipline in private. You don't want to embarrass your child in front of their friends or family or siblings or even perfect strangers. And you don't want to overdo it. 1 or 2 spanks is sufficient enough. Spanking should never result in physical injury. Always follow up your spanking with a review of the offense and always reassuring your child of unconditional love. And when is it okay to spank? When a child's behavior could be dangerous to their life, or if they have the intention to keep repeating the behavior. When a child refuses to cooperate with the milder punishment, and when a child willfully disobeys other forms of discipline and they haven't been successful. When a child is disrespectful and also knows that. Is it age appropriate to spank? Well, according to the article, disciplinary spanking isn't necessary on the goodparenting.org site states that spanking is necessary during these ages. 18 months to 6 years is the most useful when reasoning and consequences are less effective. From ages 7 to 10 years, it is uncommon to use spanking, and definitely hardly ever used after the age of 10. During the early stages of a child's development, effective reasoning is very limited. Timeout may be ineffective, and research has indicated that spanking is the best choice to use as a backup of timeout. According to research done by Ray Burundi, a local clinical psychologist in the Children's Hospital of Akron, Ohio, a study of families of outstanding students in 50 states, which was the winners of the Teacher of the Year, to discover the secrets of highly successful families. They found that spanking was one of the aspects of parenting, and that was what was examined. And this is what their findings were. 70% of parents of outstanding students employed some sort of physical punishment with their children. Some relied upon it often, and others rarely used it. Spanking was generally considered to be one tool in a parent's discipline. Most began spanking between ages of 18 to 24 months and phased it out by the ages of 4 to 6 months. Spanking was neither the main method nor a last-ditch intervention. The occasions when spanking was used was when teaching a child to avoid potentially dangerous situations, when punished for deliberate disobedience, and when punishing for disrespectful behavior. Spanking was not used for accidents, childish behavior, or impulsiveness. The parents preferred to use other consequences in those behaviors. The studies also concluded that spanking was a majority of parents with outstanding children, and they were willing to spank. They consider it a healthy discipline and used it often. Spanking is not child abuse, and not one of these spanking parents was a child abuser. Spanking does not in and of itself lead a child to be aggressive or to approach problems with a might makes right mentality. Consistently, the youngsters in these families were identified as normal, mature, and sensitive. One need not spank to be a good parent. A significant minority of parents chose not to spank for personal and practical reasons. They neither view spanking as a psychological dark side of discipline or as an outmoded or brutal technique. According, again, to the website goodparent.org, in the article, Does Spanking Lead a Parent to Use Physical Abuse? Surveys indicated that as many as 94% of parents of preschoolers used spanking, yet the incidence of physical abuse in America is less than 1%. More than 70% of primary care pediatricians who work every day with families reject the idea that spanking sets the state of parents to engage in forms of physical abuse. In the study done by Stokoler and Stein found that most parents who spank do not spank on impulse, but purposely spank their children with a belief in its effectiveness. In conclusion, we were not given an instruction book on raising our children. What may work for some may not work for others. Successful child rearing requires 3 elements: instruction, affirmation, and correction. Parents must give instruction, then encourage them to listen and comply. Then, if they are disobedient, then that's when you correct them. Parents and professionals may never agree where to draw the line when it comes to discipline and teaching our children right from wrong. Just remember to show your children love no matter what choice of discipline you might choose.